Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and I'm being bombarded about questions of this Nightmare on Elm Street remake. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. I talk anything and everything movie related, mostly giving you news and reviews on the latest films. Did that rhyme? I'm not sure, but I'd consider myself Dr. Seuss at this point now. But back to what I was talking about is I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of questions about make a video about this Nightmare on Elm Street remake that's happening.
A Nightmare on Elm Street movie's coming in 2019.
Chris, did you hear about Freddy Kreguer coming back?
So I want to go ahead and set the record straight about what is happening with a Nightmare on Elm Street and if there's a possibility of a remake or a reboot coming out in the next few years. Where this is all coming from is recently the writer of Aquaman, David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. Jesus man, get a shorter name, you're in Hollywood. Do what I did, I went from Christopher to Chris. But he's obviously doing interviews and promoting the movie Aquaman that just came out. And in one of the interviews, he was asked about the Nightmare on Elm Street series because back in 2015, he was announced to write the new script for a remake. And this is what he had to say about it. It's still happening, nothing is percolating just yet. The Conjuring universe is sort of the first and foremost on New Line Cinema's horror burner. Everybody wants to see Freddy again, I think. So I think it's inevitable at some point. And that little line of dialogue got a bunch of people talking, a bunch of websites reporting that a Nightmare on Elm Street movie is coming soon. But obviously from me hearing that, you can tell that it's actually not coming anytime soon. What it looks like Warner Brothers, who is in charge right now of the Conjuring universe, they're mainly focusing as that as their horror bank. So that's what they're doing in the horror section, and then in the superhero section, they have Aquaman, the DCU, which we all know that's going wonderfully. And I'm sure they got their other projects for action films, dramas, or Oscar contenders and stuff of that nature. And I mean, it makes sense. The Conjuring universe right now is thriving, it's pumping, and I mean, they have the Conjuring 3 coming up, they have Annabelle 3, both of which I've made video updates on if you want to know the plot of what's happening with those movies. I'll link them down below. And I'm sure they got tons of other spin-offs planned, so right now we're not going to see Freddy come back, but here are a few things that could help get Freddy come back just a little sooner. Since it is on their minds and they are planning to do it eventually, like it looks like it sounds like, the project isn't dead, they haven't fired him, they haven't told him, hey, don't send us a script, don't keep working on it, just let it go. The few things that I think could speed it up and we could see it announced, we definitely saw the success of Halloween and how well that movie did. In fact, right now it's the #1 box office film in slasher category, which is obviously great news for them because it shows that there is an audience who still wants old characters from slasher movies to come back. But honestly, that could just be the exception because if you look at every other slasher film that's come out in recent years, they either all have gone straight to video or have just done poorly at the box office. I mean, I have examples of both. I just saw Hellfest just a few weeks back. I was excited to see it because it was a slasher movie and it was horrible and it bombed at the box office. But then you have a great movie like The Clover Hitch Killer, which I saw because it was on VOD, had a very limited release in theaters, and it's a great movie, but no one is talking about it because slasher films are up and down of how much money you can make. Not to mention, I think Freddy Kreguer is the hardest person I think to bring back in sort of a remake or reboot because that movie all depends on who you cast as Freddy Kreguer because Robert Englund was the king of that. And to have someone just do an impersonation of that, But then to have someone like Jackie Earle Haley who played the Freddy Kreguer in that remake, he did his best to do his own thing, but it just didn't work out. The biggest thing that's gonna push this, believe it or not, is gonna be the Child's Play remake. The remake of Child's Play that's coming out in June of 2019, if that movie is a success and it does good money, it's not gonna be #1 at the box office because it's competing with Toy Story 4, but if it crosses the line of profitable and a lot of people go out and see it, you're gonna see an announcement for Freddy Kreguer and a new reboot right away because that's two iconic villains in a row that make success at the box office. That's only gonna make New Line Cinema want a taste of that money. So yeah guys, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street is nowhere close to being made at the moment. They're focusing on the Conjuring universe, and unless that starts to dip, we're not gonna see a Nightmare on Elm Street put on the front end of that. But let me know what you guys think about that. Do you wish it could happen? Who would you want to play Freddy Kreguer? Is it even something that should be done? I love Freddy Kreguer. He's actually my #1 horror villain, so I'm always very hesitant about a remake with that, but at the same time, I'll be open-minded if they give us one. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review, but as always, I'm Chris. Take care.